can't just continue split pushing and like remove map control from the Alchemist. So we'll see how the early game goes. I think that will be like a really determining factor of whether or not this Alchemist or whether or not the Brood and Nature's Prophet get into the mid game in good shape.
Seneko maybe in a little bit of trouble walking up the stairs here. Slayer thinking about skilling this Glimpse. Won't do so for the time being. Just with the Alchemist there, it would have been hard to kill off the Bane. He just skills up a Brain Sap, gets back into kind of healthy standing, and should be just fine. So yeah, I think partly it's going to be on Navi to even... Well, Nightmare goes out top lane. And there's going to be a little bit of a scuffle here. They're taking a little damage.
Impale. Daily reminder, Nyx Impale is the hardest spell in the game to land.
Definitely not an easy one. Nothing off the top of my head that beats it, but still hard pressed to believe the absolute
I say
hardest.
that because I always see it being whiffed. I always whiff it myself as well. There's just something about that spell, you know?
It's a bit wonky.
On paper, it shouldn't be that bad. I miss when you could actually auto-target the hero, and then you would end up with these ridiculous impales on like maximum move speed heroes where your Nyx just does like a 360 and then hits the impale.
The good old days. It's perhaps too good of a hero for that to still be possible.
Top lane's off to a good start. They have the creep wave under the tower, so this Nyx will get a couple of levels off the next couple of waves. General in sort of a 1v1 bottom with this Wildkin just spinning up in the back. And so Roger actually just gets to chase this Doom around, and I'm fairly certain that this Doom's gonna have a bad time running through this jungle. Mid lane though, Dendi has to be a little bit careful of how he uses his spiders, because if his spiders eat too much acid spray, then they start dying and it feeds a lot of gold, so certainly something he has to look out for.
Not the easiest matchup for a Broodmother in the mid lane, especially considering Alchemist is a melee hero, usually a better matchup. But yeah, I'm hard pressed to find this Doom's purpose in the early game. Where does he find his opening, do you think, best? Does he walk towards mid lane with a Dust? Does he go towards top lane and try to tip the scales there? Speaking of top lane. They're going to be nightmared up. Seneko.
You can see this Phantom Monster is having a lot of trouble in the bottom lane, and I'm not... Oh, sorry, I should probably wait for your...
Well,
top.
I mean,
I thought it was over.
He's still level 1. He will snag the bounty rune, so mission accomplished, I suppose, for Seneko. Still pretty tanky. Does not have the Brain Sap, of course, so will eventually fall. And Afterlife, despite having his bounty rune snagged, will secure first blood.
So this bottom tower is actually getting pummeled right now, and this Phantom Monster's out of HP regen almost, and he's almost half health, and so this tower goes down, and you know,
3 minutes into the game.
I feel like Vega picked Doom to sort of counteract this Enchantress, but it doesn't work as well as, say, like a Witch Doctor or a Crystal Maiden, just because the cooldown on Devour is so incredibly long. It's 70 seconds, Enchantress 30 seconds on the enchant, so you get 2. And it just doesn't work, and when you have a hero like Nature's Prophet, you can't stop either of them with your heroes in the bottom lane. You just lose your tower at 3 minutes. And so this is huge because, well, obviously they get the tower is huge, but also the Enchantress gets to roam a lot more effectively between the mid and bottom lanes. So we might see a lot more movement heading towards this Alchemist.
There's a lot more access points for this Enchantress throughout the game. How do you feel? I mean, top lane Crystallize has been near free farming. I mean, his CS is not what he would want to be necessarily, but he has had to leave the lane a couple of times when Seneco's been pressured. Still, though, he's going to be able to chip at this tower, you know, slowly and over time. What do they do exactly with their PL for Aloha Dance?
Well, I think he tries to get what he can. If possible, they should go for a gank on the Nature's Prophet, but it's actually incredibly difficult for them to do that with a Disruptor and Doom sitting at level 2. They can certainly go for it, but...
And they will try just that, as you mention it.
It feels like...
Saving a skill point is Slayer, but yeah, he's got phase boots on this on this Nature's Prophet, and not even the brown boots yet on Slayer, so the catch is very difficult.
There's just so much ward vision laid down by Roger right now. There's this ward in the middle of the jungle, and then there's a ward on the camps. In fact, 3 of these camps are blocked, I believe. And so Alchemist, well, not only are they getting a lot of vision, but the farm is also limited for the Alchemist since 3 of these camps are blocked.
3 camps blocked, Enchantress overtaking some of the big creeps out of the other camps as well, just leaving the lesser value creeps and keeping her vision, keeping her distance, literally dragging in a wild goose chase both Zayach and Slayer Sioma across the map is this Enchantress. Afterlife, he's soaked a little bit of experience here top lane. He's sitting on level 4 on the Nyx Assassin, which is higher than the rest of these supports in the game, but I'm not sure that Navi are necessarily scared of giving him a bit of free time. They're getting so much on their Tricore. General, particularly, has the phase boot 600 gold, 3rd overall in net worth here 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Navi are definitely getting more just by default on their laning configuration right now. And a little bit of a scuffle happening in the bottom lane.
Doppelganger be used to keep Aloha Dance safe for now. Has a couple of tangos, but still just the ability to solo body him off lane here for General is earning one. And Crystallize is totally self-sufficient in the top lane as well. Soneko on the Bane here has kind of been the, I would say, the target of most of the aggression thus far from Vega Squadron, but he still picks up his level 3. He's, committed to a lot of support items as well. I think across the board, Navi pretty content with how this early game is going. Meanwhile, though, behind the tower, Enchantress in trouble. She will get the kill with the rocks from the mini-mud golems, but she does end up falling thereafter. So she'll be the beneficiary of the experience, but, it's finally something accomplished for this triumvirate of heroes being the Doom, Nyx, and the Disruptor for Vega's side. So a much-needed little influx of golden experience for them.
It's not quite enough, though, because Navi are about 1k net worth ahead, even though they're up against an Alchemist. So
Soneko, TP out. Not going to make it. He stomped from the Doom there to keep him down and dead.
Vega definitely need to keep going for kills like that and try to make them happen, but most of their catch is going to come from the Nyx hitting level 6. I think Vega's kind of lineup was configured not for catching heroes necessarily, but for backing up the Alchemist for potential pushes. And so really they don't have a hero like Earthshaker or maybe like Rubik to help like set up kills. Really the only kill setup they have is going to be the Nyx 6 or Disruptor hitting higher levels, and so they're going to probably have to wait for that before they make any big moves. But as I say that, Navi, they're smoking behind the Nyx. They've got 4 heroes in this top lane.
This tower is already a little bit weak, so they've got the net from the Troll. There's the Nightmare setup we talked about in the draft. Actually, big bounce from the Wrath of Nature coming through as well from the Prophet and Afterlife. He'll be sent to the Afterlife momentarily as Navi going to posture up here aggressively underneath this tower. General does not have any treants. Actually, he spawned them earlier, so does have them, and they should take this tower with ease. Meanwhile, Soneko going to get a little bit of time to soak mid lane. Dendi farming up the Ancients to ensure the Alchemist can't stack those. And now he's going to find Zayats as well. Doesn't have Incapacitating Bite, but does have Medallion already and had an Orb of Venom. If it weren't for that Centaur Warstomp, that would have been a dead Doom. Speaking of dead, though, Afterlife in trouble. He gets a big kill, however, on General before what may be his inevitable death. He does have the potential to TP out here with the Arcane Boots, if he so pleases. But TP on cooldown.
For a bit.
Looks like it'll just be a matter of time before they get to him. And they'll find him with the Troll. Charm is there as well for the slow. Nice body blocks coming out from General. So big kill for Afterlife to find, but he'll end up dropping for
Meanwhile,
it.
the Doom.
Yeah, he is completely pincered in by Dendi. That's got to feel bad. And he will drop. So, I mean, big kill for the Nyx Assassin. He finds, himself a nice chunk of golden experience. But across the board, Navi still dominating in the early going here.
Then he's doing some scouting out. CZ Alchemist decides to just block the camps instead, but this part of the jungle is Dendi's now, so Alchemist Not going to be able to farm that for a while.
And it's not all that often that you can see this mid lane Broodmother transitioning to take a big section of the map over. But because they got these early towers in the side lanes, then you're just able to freely kind of take over that side shop area from the Radiant away from the Alchemist, which, you know, often is one of his safest places to farm. And so now he's going to be hard pressed to find farm.
There's not a lot he has to be afraid of as well. I think he just assumes that the Nyx and the Disruptor are on a different part of the map, which they are. They'll find General.
Yep. Kind of inevitable for them to find a kill as this Vendetta comes out. General will make him work for it, but regardless, they will drop. Dendi doing some scouting now mid lane where Navi assembles, but it looks like they're with the Alpha Wolf thinking Roche. Medallion is there as well from Roger. And they'll make quick work of the big boy.
Troll takes Roshan deceivingly quickly. And so this Aegis should be really good for Navi. Then they, however, dust it up. Vega are looking for him. They won't catch him, however.
Again, you said there's not much for him to fear. I suppose with the Disruptor nearby, there is something general, though, in the enemy base. Did he get a courier? What did he do? What was he doing here?
On Earth?
All right, Unstable Concoction skilled up by G. And with the Thunderstrike, they... Was that the other caster drawing that, or you?
That's me.
Oh, man.
Sorry. Apologies.
No, that was good. That was great. It was what I was thinking. But I guess, you know...
We must have missed something, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that was the high tier play that went wrong.
Fortunately, I don't have the instant replay right now, but space created. Navi, they're going to secure Roche, and they'll just wait for General to respawn and likely assemble near this mid lane tower where Dendi currently resides. He's used up the Insatiable Hunger, though, and as mentioned before, you know, more than likely content to continue the split push. Don't really want to take a full 5-man engagement, does the Navi squad, as that is the only time where Vega could even perhaps be on par.
Be on the left.
Strength G, yeah, in trouble as well. They'll Medallion him up. Orb of Venom is there. A couple of Impetus shots, and Armlet not going to be enough to save this G Alchemist. Chemical Rage off of cooldown, so convenient timing. They do lose General in the mid lane, however, to the combination of Afterlife and Aloha Dance, but Crystallize undeterred with his Aegis. Now they're going to go back in. Dendi's glimpsed up. He will get the Insatiable Hunger off, but the Infernal Blade is there to stun him up. And that's a big couple of kills going Vega's way. They do lose the Alchemist once again, and he's down 240 gold, but 300 gold the way of the Nyx, a little bit of gold the way of the PL and the Disruptor. Overall, rather even in the way of metrics. But Navi, they get the tier 1 tower mid lane. They hold on to the Aegis, so and continue to play their game.
I mean, that's quite a good exchange for Vega.
Right.
Especially when they need their Phantom Monster and they need their Nyx to be in a good position for the mid game, because the Alchemist isn't going to solo carry this game. Realistically, if Alchemist is the only farm tier on Vega, he just gets targeted by Troll Warlord and Broodmother at every fight. And so this PL actually poses a bit of a problem for Navi, since Navi still don't have any area of effect unless they pick up a Battle Fury or something on a Troll. I mean, the Whirling Axis does do something about the illusions, but it doesn't really prevent the PL from doing PL things in fights, which is just creating billions of illusions and burning your mana and HP. So Vega, they're probably content with what's happening right now, especially since G is...
Okay, they picked up General. Meanwhile, though, Dendi going in onto G, and maybe an equally important kill secured here by Navi on the western side of the map. Not sure well General dropped. Looks like Vendetta able to pick him up there bot lane. Impale, Mana Burn, and the Disruptor toolkit, including the Static Storm used for General. But Navi, they'll get a kill of their own, and with the Fervor stacks up now for Crystallize, going to put some very significant damage into this tower, if not bring it down.
G dying is also... I mean, General dying is all space in the end.
Yeah. Charm onto Zayach mid lane. It's just going to be an intimidation charm in order to take out that tier 2 here. But 14 minutes into the game, tier 2 mid lane eliminated in the favor of Navi, so they're going to be happy with that. Still, though, as you mentioned, Aloha Dance a little bit unchecked in the top lane farming away. He did have a very rough start, but since then Navi hasn't spent much time and
Give him
attention.
the bash.
And need the bash
Give him the
here,
bash.
General.
Bash.
And for now, Aloha Dance will make it out unscathed. G, though, far behind where he'd like to be at this point. Just enough for Relic Gold here, 14 minutes. And often this is the time where we see the full Radiance completed up. But 2 deaths to the Alchemist name thus far. And as you mentioned,
Bottom.
Dendi kind of occupying his space to farm as well. And back at it again, this same exact duo trying to take out General. Glimpse into the Static Storm. Mana Burn is there. And the last tick from that Thunderstrike. And take him out. Dendi stalking mid underneath the cover of one of his sentries. Going to be a hard kill, though. No Orchid yet for Dendi or anything of the sort. But Aloha Dance has used the Doppelganger. Maybe this is an opening for them. Doesn't seem like it. And looks like things will stagnate for the time being.
Alchemist starting to near his Radiance. I think that'll help them deal with the spiders on Broodmother for sure.
Saneko taking a lot of damage mid lane. Is going to be forced to defensively Nightmare and will just end up falling. Perhaps feeling a little confident with this Obs Sentry combo there for Navi. Again, though, a little bit of space. I mean, this is kind of the game plan that we entailed for Navi at the beginning, is that you bleed a hero here and there as long as you're taking objectives off the back of those deaths. Would be just fine. Definitely don't want to take full 5-scale engagements into this very potent team fight lineup of Vega.
So Navi, they back off. They lose a hero, and Vega, they actually have 4 heroes missing off the map right now. So Navi's got to be a little bit careful of their positioning. Crystallize opting to jungle deeper in there, and so.
Alright, so Radiance money is just about ready and is going to be flown out for the G Alchemist. Now Dendi, nipping at his heels, is about 1,100 gold away from his own Radiance at this point.
I'm hoping Navi are starting to realize that they can't just stand alone on certain parts of the map if the Nyx and the Disruptor are missing. So they actually smoke up 3 of their heroes up top.
Saneko, Nightmare onto the Doom, but it looks like he got the Scorched Earth off, so he's going to be a hard kill, but not with the Battle Trance. Big Impale coming out from Afterlife. The Static Storm connects as well, but there's no follow-through just yet. G's rolling through. He's got the Chemical Rage up. Unstable Concoction is going to catch Roger. Going to be a hard kill, though, with the Untouchable level 4 on this Enchantress. Now Roger turning to fight into Slayer. One more right click will be able to bring down the Disruptor. However, Aloha Dance joins the fray and will take out the Enchantress. Meanwhile, on the north side, Afterlife on the Nyx Assassin was able to bring down the Bane. Dendi, however, taking out the tier 2 bottom lane. And the scan did clip General, but he's able to make it away towards mid. So it'll be 2 kills going the way of Navi. Roger, however, is able to kill off the Disruptor in return. So definitely a decisive win for Vega. However, Dendi does get the tier 2 bottom, and that'll leave those that tier 3 exposed and vulnerable
Might
hereafter.
walk into the Disruptor here. Dendi says, "Hello, sir. How are you doing?"
Can't die here, and the Broodmother. But looks like with the help of General, we'll be able to finish off the Disruptor, even under the Spawn Spiderlings buff as well. PL top lane is going to be able to get a kill. Doom is thrown out onto Dendi, and now they're going to bring in the G Alchemist as well. This is right before Radiance Gold. Oh, the Broodmother actually had it delivered out. What am I talking about? Meanwhile, top lane, Roger going to join up with Crystallize, and looks like the blind did enough work against the PL to bring him down. Crystallize has all his mana burned away from the Diffusal, but Aloha Dance for the first time in a long while, actually first time in the game, 5-1 and 2 on the PL. Going to take a spill there, top lane.
So Radiance on the Broodmother helps her farm, but most importantly, whenever you have a Radiance against the Phantom Monster, it makes the illusions miss, but it also reduces the HP of the main Phantom Monster, so any illusions that spawn after that have lower HP, and so it becomes easier and easier to deal with the Phantom Monster as the fight progresses. And Phantom Monster is the kind of hero that wants the fights to be drawn out just so he can get more lances off and make the fight more chaotic.
Afterlife stalking top lane. His Vendetta just expires though, but now they're going to throw out the Lance. They have the Diffusal Blade as well. Nature's Swiftness, or Nature's Attendance will be there, excuse me. And there is a defensive Nightmare from Saneko. He's actually going to pop it offensively onto the Nyx Assassin. knowing that the PL attacks a little bit slowly. Now they'll jump forward with the Fiend's Grip and the Battle Trance, bring down the Nyx. Doom in trouble as well. They need a bash. They'll get the Brain Sap instead. Now Aloha Dance, he's going to turn and run to the left, but he's got backup inbound. Unstable Concoction, Static Storm is there. Troll Warlord, he's going to fall as well. Dendi in this juncture is not nearly close enough to threaten structures. So a nice team fight sequence top lane for Vega. They're looking for Slayer though, General is that, and he will find the Disruptor on the back end. So a little bit of a consolation prize for Navi there. But overall, oh gee, bottom lane, this could be much more than a consolation prize as he drops solo to Dendi. And I would have said that Vega would be very happy with that sequence of events, but Dendi picking up the G Alchemist on the bottom lane is certainly not ideal.
Yeah, getting quite a bit of tier 3 tower damage here. So Vega, whenever they fight on the other side of the map, they have to be constantly aware of the threat in the bottom lane, and so I think it might be wise for them to make their next couple of movements into their own jungle, just ward it out, sentry it up, make sure that they know where Dendi and they know where the Nature's Prophet can be.
General does have an Orchid as well that could prove to be very deadly before this Manta style comes out. As against the Broodmother, we've seen the Aloha Dance PL opt for the Boots of Travel here early. But it is going to be Navi back into the Roche pit, and Roche going to have a cheese this time around.
Dendi, however,
yeah, going to be caught out. Static Storm is there, Unstable Concoction, and they'll kill the Brood. Always feels like, though, this game at least, that when a Navi core has died, it's been space for something somewhere on the map. That is going to be the Roche attempt for Navi successful. Still a big kill for Vega to find, and a couple of heroes in the Disruptor, and the G Alchemist is going to benefit from that.
In the end, everyone is just space.
A bunch of astronauts, this Navi squad.
Astronauts. Roger actually picks up a minus on Enchantress, so she'll be able to scale a little bit into the late game. The concern for her is the two cores actually don't care about her so much, because Alchemist can always close the gap, and Phantom Lancer, you're not always hitting the correct one. And both of them have plenty of magic damage, so Roger has quite a bit to be afraid of this game until he picks up maybe like a 4-staff or a BKB. They're actually setting up for a kill on this Troll Warlord top. It's 3 heroes up here. PL rotating in. You have a blink on the Nyx.
Yeah, Afterlife has blink at this point. And perhaps was just waiting for the Axis to come out to jump forward Carapace.
Just a little bit of a short window there, but I actually don't think that would have worked out for them, because Crystallize does have that Aegis, and they're fighting in front of a tier 1, so there's a potential for a lot of TP rotations, but we haven't actually seen Navi fight as 5 yet. Dendi's always been in this bottom lane, pushing the waves out, and you know that's actually how Broodmothers usually play anyway. He hasn't actually ever had a TP ready to help his team. I don't know if that's intentional. But
yeah, he did opt for the Radiance, and you know, maybe you would have seen something like the Orchid if he planned on fighting a little bit earlier, but just constantly keeping this wave shoved. I mean, you mentioned the merits of the Radiance versus the PL, but definitely seems like his intention has been to sit in this bottom lane and pose a threat to the buildings. Unstable Concoction flies out onto Crystallize, but he's able to make it into the fog, and as you mentioned previously, does have the Aegis. Not the easiest target to sell out on for Vega.
Vega, they have to send the Alchemist back to defend the bottom tower, so there's only 4 heroes, or 3 or 4 heroes on the top lane
rotating
right
in
now.
bottom as well. Maybe Dendi able to set something up here. Afterlife, though, nearby, kind of sniffing this out on the Nyx Assassin. And Dendi has his Radiance turned off, so they think it's a ward here. Actually, Dendi scouting the Nyx Assassin. G nearby. Now Afterlife towards mid. Link back. Carapace will keep him safe for now. They're looking to hunt down G, though. Navi not able to find anyone. Seneko drops a ward trying to initiate. They find the G Alchemist, however. Battle Trance is popped, but have they overstepped their bounds? BKB popped by Crystallize. He's trying to work into the G Alchemist. Jump forward. Impale will connect on the backline. Enchantress, but the Brain Sap finishes off the Alch. Now jumping forward is Dendi. He'll find the Nyx Assassin. That's 2 heroes down. And Navi stepping just far enough to find Root here. As Crystallize up to the high ground, does have the Aegis for the next little bit. It's going to force out the G buyback, and Navi seemingly content with their spoils. They will glimpse back onto Crystallize. He wants to stand and fight here as he does have the Aegis, but not going to be able to do so. Meanwhile, Seneko TPing out. He'll be successful in doing so. Crystallize is going to be in a lot of trouble, and it looks like Navi will just sack him on his second time around.
That does cost the buyback though, and it doesn't really put Vega in a better position, although they're not in a losing position anymore since Troll Warlord has lost his Aegis, so that buys Vega some time for their Alchemist to farm, really.
Firstly, got to farm back buyback, then working on the next item. He does have the Manta Style, has a Assault Cuirass already as well in... maybe was thinking of going AC. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're going to jump forward, Orchid up the Doom, and Dendi alongside General will finish him off.
It's been a bit of an unfortunate game for Doom in 0-6, but he's been in a couple of key kills. His job this game is basically just to Doom either Dendi or Crystallize before they get the BKB off. Vega looks like they might be setting up top lane. And this Phantom Lancer also doesn't have much to be afraid of. Navi actually have pretty much 0 initiation, but as I say that...
General jumping forward, has the Orchid available. He's going to get glimpsed back immediately. Impale it connects onto the Troll, but Seneko rotating through is going to dissuade Vega from continuing forward. Maelstrom is completed up on General. Been sitting in base for the last little bit.
Navi barely have any crowd control. I mean, it's pretty much only the Bane and maybe the Bash on the Troll Warlord. So I feel like this Phantom Monster doesn't have a lot to worry about unless he somehow gets piled on. But in general, he should probably, after his Mjolnir, start looking towards something like a Hex or a Shadowblade just to scout out kills. And pretty much Navi's just playing... Both teams are actually just playing the farm and pick off game for a while. The Dendi picks up a BKB, so that should make him a lot more survivable in fights.
And make him able to attend fights, which he's done kind of sparsely up until this point. We'll see if he actually joins to look to 5-man before, they give this Alchemist a little too much space here. But yeah, speaking to your point, PL or Aloha Dance, just 1 death throughout this game thus far. And I suppose they're itemizing towards dealing with him, at least with the Mjolnir completed up. For General, they can kind of throw that on Crystallize or Dendi and jump him into the middle of fights. They have the Radiance as well, but it does feel like he's been left unchecked for the last little bit.
Crystallize is starting to work on a BKB, which should help him deal with the PL illusions. I think it was probably necessary this game, unless they sort of had like a huge lead from the beginning.
The Earn Tick from Seneko trying to cancel the blink, but you do have that split second before the damage actually kicks in. The blink away, and Afterlife able to do so.
And you can see how the Alchemist sort of skews the net worth and EXP graph. So the net worth is Navi's like 3k ahead, which is quite minimal at this point in the game. But in terms of EXP, they're about 13,000 ahead. And Roger's actually being chased down here. We'll see if they get the glimpse. There is no blink on the Disruptor, so Enchantress moves much more quickly at the moment until the Lance hits.
And
Heal us.
this will be just the delay of the inevitable for Roger, who will be glimpsed back into her Doom.
Space for top, though.
General, once again, Navi gonna find something out of it, and something we alluded to in the draft is that, each of their cores in their own rights are able to push buildings. So that's the final tier 2, but it was something that more than likely would have fallen regardless of that death. So still a pickup for Vega. Dendi occupying the bottom lane now, and as units go in top lane, he'll throw the Spiderlings at the tier 3. Gonna do a rather considerable amount of damage, and will render that tier 3 quite weak. Dendi, though, hanging around, not under the cover of a web. Does have cheese and BKB.
Dendi, sir.
On the Radiance, gets the Carapace off. Dendi will pop BKB. He has an Insatiable Hunger. He hasn't used it yet, and he gets doomed up. And Dendi just kind of accepting his fate there, bottom lane. Like he might have been like purchasing it from shop or something when that fight started.
Yeah.
Nice play by the Nyx though, using the Radiance Carapace. Meanwhile, General drops to the Nature's Wrath. I guess the Spiderlings followed him. Yeah, there's a couple of dead Spiderlings here, so this has been how they got the vision. Nicely coordinated.
Not a bad exchange for Navi. I mean, that puts General a little bit closer to his Hex, which he has queued up, as well as the BKB. So that should actually help General do a lot of fighting in these team fights. And bit of an altercation happening up top. PL chasing Soneko.
Static charge? Not there from General. Thought he might throw it on Soneko and look to turn it. With perhaps Aloha Dance not expecting it. But they still have vision of him, the Dire do. Opting not to press forward, however. As you mentioned, a little bit of a lack of a disable. Especially in the AoE form for Navi's side. So kind of hard to keep this PL at bay.
I think ideally when you run a split push lineup, you have a hero like Earth Spirit or Nyx or Spirit Breaker that can help set up kills. Those are just some examples. And so since Navi don't have that, we've just seen them pretty much go for farming. You know, kills will occur when they can, but for the most part, Vega don't have to be scared, or at least the Alchemist and the PL don't have to be scared anymore, unless they notice that Navi have a ton of heroes missing. But until then, both teams just farming up. But the net worth difference has pretty much been steady for the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, next item was completed by General. That's going to be his Assault Cuirass, and certainly has a lot of right click to be able to mitigate from Navi's side. Looking for the Roche was the fan favorite squad, and they will find it here momentarily if they check once again. Meanwhile, the PL showing under their ward top lane. Crystallized looking to find him. He's used his doppelganger here. They orchid him up, but he mantas it off. And now looking to get away, but they find the grip. This is a huge kill for them to find. And an opening for Roshan. Now they'll find the Doom as well. He's going to be sprouted up after the Nightmare. A couple of impetus strikes, and General's right clicks will finish him off. Dendi using the BKB there for good measure. But this will mean a couple of kills, as well as the Roche going the way of Navi.
You can see General starting at bottom as well for the push. I mean, Navi, two of their lanes are in good position, so after this Roche, they can certainly try to force a buyout or at least get a lot of tower damage here.
Jeez. Secured by Roger. General in trouble bottom lane. He's going to get glimpsed back and brought down. And trying to set up for his squad, he may have just given a little bit of an opening for Vega, excuse me, to respawn. Battle Fury pickup for Crystallize. That's one way to deal with the PL.
That was a cool decision from G there. I think he pinged out the gank on the Nature's Prophet ahead of time, so...
Navi splitting these lanes here. They get the tier 3 bottom. Meanwhile, Dendi working on top alongside Roger. They pop the battle trance, get the range racks bottom, and now the melee is in trouble too. G really selling out to find this kill on Dendi top lane and will get it. But again, it's a theme of the game thus far. Navi, a hero for a building. And the courier, Soneko, gets his item delivered, but gets it killed off.
Soneko actually ran into the base to sleep Slayer so that his Troll Warlord could get out.
And a very noble play from the Bane. Slayer gets the glimpse back over top of the Static Storm for Roger. Roger still running very quickly. Afterlife is there, though, with the Impale. And still a difficult kill for these heroes, as Roger will pop the cheese just to be a nuisance. Actually had the Hurricane Pike, but needed to wait for the Kinetic Field to expire. And unfortunately, that was a little bit too long for Roger to survive. So he will end up falling and utilizing the cheese as well. But still, Navi, they bleed a couple of heroes here. They're still holding onto the Aegis, and they do get that bottom lane of racks here. So a little bit of breathing room for them against the Alchemist. You already mentioned how good they are at split pushing, and now having one lane to inherently push in Vega's direction is going to help them immensely keep the rest of the map in check.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this isn't the exchange that Navi wanted, losing 4 heroes for their racks, but it does help them into the late game, so we'll see if they can capitalize on that, especially since they still have the Aegis on the Troll, and I believe they still have a cheese on the Broodmother. The Troll's starting to work on a Butterfly, which is a very helpful item against Phantom Monsters, since PLs generally don't want to buy MKB unless they have to. So it just helps a lot for the illusions, especially when you need all the mana you can get.
With the Battle Fury, Crystallize cleans these up much more quickly.
Those PL illusions give so much gold, actually, since there's so many of them, and the I believe the gold on
So on general
is,
illusions, it scales with level, but I think PL illusions are linear. Like it's just constant, no matter what through the game. I have to check that, but I think the PL ones are not as much as like a Manta illusion.
It's still quite a bit, though. I think I saw it was like 14 or 16 gold per illusion. General, he has his Hex now, so there's some pickup potential. If they ever find like the Phantom Lancer or the Alchemist farming alone on some part of the map, General can just TP in and go for the kill. And still has to be a little bit careful. Actually, General pops a dust in a Sparrow. He suspected the Nyx was next to him.
A little paranoia never hurt anyone. He's got 7 deaths already this game, so
I think 6 of them are just the Nyx walking up to him too.
Navi scan middle lane will catch Tsuneko under the cover of smoke. And so, or the Vega scan, excuse me. So they'll be playing rather risk-free up inside their base. Word was dropped, Sentry is going to catch it.
Where are you going?
Aloha will remove that vision away from Navi, so still an Aegis on Crystallize. That will expire in about 1 minute and 30 seconds as they make their way up to the high ground. Then he's going to pop the BKB. Grip is up on the Alchemist. They are able to glimpse back the Bane, and he's inside the Static Storm. He'll be the first to fall. Actually, General falls as well. Crystallize just trying to sell out on the buildings with his BKB. He will get the melee racks, but could be in trouble now as they respawn and shred through him. And meanwhile, Aloha Dance mid lane chasing out for Roger. Doesn't have any Diffusal Blade charges left. Roger going to force down to the low ground. Uses the Hurricane Pike to try and create some separation here. And Roger does have a gem, so certainly not an inconsequential kill for them to find. They will chase deep for it. And Dendi trying to work on the melee racks. Roger creating a lot of space here. Gets the shrine, will get glimpsed back, and another Hurricane Pike popped. But the Thunder Strike itself did finish him off. Dendi does not get the range racks mid. I thought he was hanging around here as the units go into base, but we'll think better of it. So that's a big commitment from Navi. They'll get 1 melee racks out of it when all is said and done.
That does mean that since all the tier 3s are down, that if any weird fight happens on the other side of the map, General can just TP in and pretty much finish all 3 of these racks in under a minute, so, or under like half a minute.
Oh, Afterlife knows exactly where Dendi is, but this time, wisely so, Dendi did not have his Radiance on. And he will pop the BKB to be able to extract himself from that bit of peril. Similarly so, Aloha Dance Doppelgangers up to the high ground and will be making it back to safety. Dendi almost level 25 here.
Oh.
So what do you do?
Plus 8 max webs, I'm fairly certain anyway.
Just fill the enemy base with webs, I think.
Yep.
Afterlife scouting once again, General.
Like a quarter of the map, or at least like maybe get like a tunnel of webs across their whole base.
General does have that Hex you were touching upon earlier. Had it for a little while now, and working on a BKB. But definitely Vega has shown the propensity to fight there in the mid lane. Now the full Alch toolkit at the ready now. He can start giving away Moon Shards or Aghanim Scepters. Disruptor Eggs would be great, and he actually has it already. Disruptor with the
action happening on this Brood Mother top.
Afterlife. Gets the stun with the Radiance, and now they're going to bring in the PL. Dendi in trouble, and that is an Aghanim's upgraded Disruptor ulti. So the mute applied. Dendi could not BKB out of it. Not sure he would have survived regardless, but just to note. No one else with the Ags just yet. Nyx. Pretty much every hero, in fact, on the Vega side. Great Ags carriers. The Doom may be the worst of them, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, PL Ags is quite underrated. I mean,
Yeah.
well, most of the time I think of PL Ags as a farming item, so maybe
Right.
it's not as effective in the late game, but it's still quite good at certain situations.
Oh, they are going to get the Doom off onto Seneko. The Spike Carapace will keep Crystallize back, and they will sacrifice the Bane.
So I think for the first time, Navi are behind in net worth, at least since the early games. So playing from behind now, but 2 racks up. They have to be really careful of their positioning because the heroes on Vega are starting to get really strong. Especially this Doom is starting to pick up some speed. I think he's actually able to solo kill the Nature's Prophet now with Doom, so we have to be a little bit careful. Roger and General TP out, sensing danger.
Yeah, Navi playing pretty blind at this point as well. They see the PL mid, but don't see any other heroes on the map.
It's actually quite a tall order for Navi to kill this Alchemist sitting on 40 armor with an AC and Shivas. So I think Navi probably have to continue split pushing. I mean, we haven't really seen Navi fight a 5-on-5 fight, but I'm not sure if they can, and I'm actually sure they're aware of that now. That's probably the reason why they haven't really grouped up.
Felt like Dendy's item progression has stagnated for maybe the past 10 to 15 minutes at this point, sitting on BKB Solar Crest Radiance for a while now. And he's picked up the plate mail on the way to an AC, but hasn't been able to grab any other components of it.
He really doesn't have any damage items aside from the Radiance, and I don't even think that really counts as a single target damage item. So, yeah, he really can't kill the PL or the Alchemist. The only hero on Navi that can really deal with the PL right now is the Troll. So they have to make sure that in the next fight someone locks down the PL and or the Alchemist and the Troll's ready to hit the target. But that puts Vega in sort of a better position. So as long as Vega keep their lanes out and prevent the threat of a split push, they should be fine in a team fight.
Full Heart completed up on the Phantom Lancer. He's going to be near his level 25 talent as well, so can add another 20 strength if he opts to do so. Going to get very difficult to kill, already sitting on 3,200 HP.
You can see Dendy's a little bit afraid now of being on the left side of the map. I mean, Vega have the vision advantage right now. They have 3 wards up on the map, like these huge wards that see so much of the map. So they also have a Nyx to scout out kills, and I don't believe Navi have a gem. And
yeah, they are going to find Crystallize. Once again, yeah, the AoE mute, keeping these heroes from being able to BKB and escape, and that is another big kill found. And the lane's in decent enough position with Aloha Dance pushing out bottom that they really aren't all that concerned of the threat of split push. They will make their way into the pit. Not the greatest Roche taking team. It is a level 3 Roche PL, notorious for being kind of crappy at Roche. But off top lane, they get the Carapace off. General is able to get his BKB up, but doomed in the process, so unable to TP out. And he'll be full.
Then he gets the mid-range Drax. He might get caught here though, and he does.
Limps back. BKB off cooldown, already used to secure the building, and Dendy will die. And Navi find themselves in a bit of a pickle here, where the Aegis is in the... Well, I guess they didn't finish off Roche just yet. But they're going to look to force these buybacks, it feels.
Navi has 3 buybacks on their cores, but obviously they don't want to expend them. And actually, the worst part about the situation from Navi is that they're actually not able to get their lanes pushed in. So mid's actually pushed up to their base. The only lane that's pushed in is bottom, so that puts Vega in a position to put a lot of pressure on Navi. And previously, the only thing stopping Vega from pushing was...
Oh, so Neko in trouble. He's going to get glimpsed back and unstable concoctions there. He does have buyback as well. It'll allow for the natural respawn of Crystallize. Meanwhile, the bottom lane pushing in a bit. It will buy back the Bane now. See if that's enough to dissuade Vega from continuing forward. But Vega, undeterred, will press forward. 14 seconds until General is back. Dendy will buy out here, and that'll prompt the retreat from Vega, seeing that their tier 4s are being chipped away at by these creeps in base. Most of the intermediary structures taken out now, so those are pretty much completely exposed.
General.
Top lane going for the melee racks. BKB's up. Oh, this is a very risky proposition. Did they get the disruptor there in time? He did not have the static storm.
It doesn't mute the TP if he's already BKB.
If he's already using it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I rate Disruptor Eggs as one of the top items in the game, aside from like Necrophos Eggs and a couple others, just because it changes. It really does change the way the hero operates, because now you do use it to catch BKB carriers, since it does disable their ability to cast it. I think this Nature's Prophet is probably the most important hero on Navi. It's one of the only reasons why Vega can't push right now. So Vega have to be constantly aware of the threat of Nature's Prophet just TPing into the base and taking their barracks, especially with that glyph down now for about 5 minutes. So Navi, they'd be wise to keep this Nature's Prophet alive. Roger.
Okay. Not sure what that attempt was.
This is
I don't know if we can quite characterize this one as space.
Was he just gonna hit the range?
Oh, bottom lane, Seneko. Well, he will be able to TP out. As no Abyssal Blade. Oh, there is a Basher, though. So a bit of misfortune, I suppose, for Aloha Dance. Unable to stop that TP.
Check out the network distribution, by the way, for Seneko. It's a sad life.
How do you survive? How did he survive? Look at his natural strength gain. Pretty darn good for the Bane. Yeah. Level 18, 1750 on the way of HP.
So I think Navi, they have to continue split pushing, but they also have to go for pickoffs, because Vega aren't going to just let Navi walk up and hit that Rax, especially when they have so many ways to deal with a split push. You have Disruptor, you have Doom, you have Nyx, and you have Alchemist disables for TPs. Especially the Doom, and now that the Doom is actually strong enough to solo a hero effectively, as long as he gets the Doom off. So Navi, I think they have to split push, but they also have to probably pick up a gem and look to kill this Nyx, you know, set up some wards defensively, since Vega is now kind of
on the front foot.
Yeah, they're playing up, and you can see like Dendy's actually just scared of hitting this creep wave. Like, he doesn't know where the Nyx is. I mean, he's correct in being scared, because
in lane Seneko, he's gonna get picked off here. Did expend his buyback right before that Roche attempt last time. Now TP's immediately back to base as General top lane with Crystallize, looking to backdoor these Raxes, and they were pretty damn close to doing so. They even get it done. But they may both fall for this, and already in towards the mid lane. Well, I mean, Aloha Dance was there, but he felt he needed to come back. Now they find a stomp with Zayach onto Roger. Roger, though, Sproink should be able to make his way away. They do have buybacks on those two cores. It is Megas. I guess certainly at this point, maybe tier 4 is slightly more important, but pretty big for Navi to secure.
Yeah, it puts Navi in the winning position now. So even if they're 17k net worth behind, as long as they don't feed, I think they'll be fine. You can see Dendy's just chipping away at this mid creep wave to prevent Vega from really pushing it, keeping those waves cut.
General up in 40 seconds, has a buyback. Crystallize in 50. Same story there.
These 3 heroes are losing to the Mega Creeps mid. You have that Vlad's on the Disruptor for a little bit of sustain, but Vega, they're going to push up. They're going to see what they can do here. Navi, they have 2 buyouts.
And 2 boots, well, a teleport and a boots of travel, but no wave pushed in right now.
I feel like Nature's Prophet should have bought back earlier just to get the lanes out so they could base race, but
they're going right into tier 4s. At least G is faking it, posturing up for it. And Seneko, he's just going to get dropped here. This is no buyback for the Bane. And still the core is holding on to these buybacks for the Prophet and the Troll Warlord. 7 seconds until they're up. This is going to be one tier 4 just completely forfeit here. Hex flies out, but the jump forward Doom is going to be thrown out onto the Nature's Prophet. He still does have buyback at this point, but he needs to do something before going down, and he effectively just feeds. Now the Static Storm is going to be on top of Crystallize. He's going to waste his first life as well. And now Dendi over by his lonesome in no man's land. Gets to pop the Shrine 4 now. Back into the fight is Crystallize. He's able to use his BKB, but he can't stick to a target just yet. He does find the Doom and bring him down. Hex is there onto the Alchemist with the Hurricane Pike. They're actually doing a good amount of damage with the Impetus Strikes, but the PL will be able to hop on top of the Enchantress, and Aloha Dance will pop the cheese, continue working into the Enchantress, bringing him down. They do get the Alchemist in the meantime, but that's a buyback now from Vega Squadron. Boots of Travel 2, TP right on top of the PL. And back into the tier 4s they will go. Dendi, he's going to drop here. That's a dieback. And Vega, looks like they'll take this to a deciding Game 3. General with a last-ditch effort going to try and make his way over to the Radiant side of the map. But still 2 tier 4s standing there. And it seems like it'll be a bit too little too late for this Nature's Prophet, as Afterlife even able to bring him down along with the Doom.
Crystallize is in the enemy base though, and this backdoor protection won't actually end for Navi, so.
And neither will these respawn timers.
They really won't. I mean, these are huge respawn timers because they're dieback respawn timers, and I gives Vega quite a big window to end the game here.
Buyback, only buyback available in the game currently is that of Sioma's Disruptor.
Feels like Navi had a chance to do that a little bit differently, at least with their final 2 heroes on Troll and Nature's Prophet. They
were rather conservative with the buybacks, and then their first 2 lives, each of them just trickled in kind of solo and ended up dying.
I think they could have just ended up cutting the waves between their base and the enemy base, just to keep that backdoor protection up until their heroes are back up. Instead, they went for sort of the YOLO play, going straight into the base, and I think they might pay for it here.
Units into the base, backdoor protection disabled, and Roger just going to throw in the towel here. Him and Zaneko, not nearly enough firepower to try and defend this, and Vega in 50 minutes will square this series up 1-1. They will weather the storm. Not a good start by any means for G's Alchemist nor Aloha Dance's PL, but kind of as you were alluding to earlier on, PL picked 3rd in the draft, but still really throughout the draft no answers for him, and just a long enough time in the mid game left unchecked. Dendi never really contributing to team fights, just didn't quite scale, fed a couple times in that bottom lane, and Navi just let their advantage slip away in the game.